Hello again. Happy Thursday. How you doing, friend? We are going to have a conversation today about question quality. The reason we are talking about this is because we are in the middle of the Decision Lab right now, real time, March 2024, and it is powerful. We are going to be doing this again. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it so you know what to keep on your radar the next time you need to hop into the lab and get some help making your way through some decisions. This is going to be it for you. We are just cleaning out the clutter. We are lowering the noise and we are getting decisive. And it is so much fun. I mean, shocker that I would find this fun. But what brings us to our podcast today is at the beginning of every session in the Decision Lab, we are just discussing a useful tool. We are equipping everyone with tools to put in their toolkit to make decisions easier and faster and more efficient, more aligned for the rest of time. Yes, please. And high quality questions was one of the things we discussed. And I was like, you know what? I do not think we've done a podcast on this yet. So here we are. Now, we have mentioned this concept before in episode 64, how to prioritize when you're unclear on your goals. I talk a little bit about how to use high quality questions to help you prioritize. I'll link that in the show notes if you want to revisit it. We also mentioned it in episode 53, a quick fix for people pleasing. I will link that in the show notes too, because these episodes give you kind of more in depth looks at how to utilize this tool of high quality questions in these specific genres. Today, I would love to just talk about the tool itself and give it to you to put in your toolkit to make all of your decisions easier and faster and more aligned for the rest of time. So, this is a tool you can use to make your decisions more quickly, especially if you have a series of decisions you're looking at, or you know there's a big one coming that you need to chunk up. This is a great tool to walk into the room with and know, okay, this is how this is going to go. This is the way we're going to approach this decision. We're going to know in advance. We're going to look for and ask high quality questions. And don't worry, we're going to define all these terms. This is also a super useful tool if you are in the stuck, if you have been mired in questions that do not feel helpful and you have become confused or overwhelmed or blah. Now, a quick note, as with everything we do, you're not going to be surprised by this. The assessment of question quality is not to be conducted with judgment. All right. We're not saying you're dumb or wrong or bad for asking low quality questions and you should only ever ask high quality questions and shame on you. Brains are question machines. We have to remember that we are not operating completely consciously with our highest thinking all of the time. We're just not. We're operating so much by habit. We're operating under stress. We are constantly searching for what is threatening us right now. So give yourself a break and don't take this too seriously, okay? I know we're talking about decisions and decisions make up your entire life and self concept. So we do take them seriously, but we're also going to lighten up about it, okay? You're allowed to be a human. You're allowed to have a human brain that asks low quality questions that don't get you anywhere. And you're even allowed to stress out about them a little bit, okay? My job is to not help you eliminate this way of being from your human existence. My job is to help you feel like you are equipped to stand up and shake it off when you notice, I've been stressing about some not super helpful questions, and I would like to move forward in a more deliberate and effective way. Tools in the toolkit. All right. We're going to get them today. And yes, the more you practice this, the more you build up your awareness of question quality and the more intentional you are with what questions do I spend time and energy on. Yes, you will stress less frequently and less extremely about the low quality question stuff. So win-win, right? So let's define our terms. Low quality questions, in short, are not answerable and or don't move you forward. High quality questions are answerable and they move you forward. So let's talk about some examples. If you are contemplating some career moves, there are career decisions on your mind, you might feel, as I did at one point, mired in a lot of questions. What's the right thing to do? Can I even do that? Is it too late for that? Will I be happier if I do this or that? What's everyone going to think? I want you to notice if we wrote those down, if we listed those questions out, in order to answer them, we would need a time machine, a mind reader, or we would just need to make up the answers. Which, by the way, is exactly what we're doing when we adopt any mindset about the future and about our perspective. So some of these questions, like, can I even do that? Is it literally possible to answer that question today? Factually, probably not without a time machine, right? It is possible to answer it just from within your own conviction. You can absolutely decide to believe, yeah, I can do that. I'm just going to make it up. You can also decide to believe, no, I can't. You can make that up. So, what makes this a low quality question is if you are stuck on it. If you are convinced that you cannot take your next step, make your next small decision, ask your next question until you get the answer that seems like it's missing. But the answer you're waiting for is the one that's never going to come, the time machine answer. If you're sitting there stuck, I remember I did this for years when I wanted to make a career decision. I really had a sense of just sitting. I didn't even have an armchair, but I felt like I was just stuck, like crunched up, curled up in this armchair, feeling that I had so many unanswered questions and I could not move forward because I didn't have those answers. I felt like, who am I to take a next step if I have all this missing information? And the perspective that I didn't have at that time was this perspective of, are these answers attainable? Are these questions answerable? Is this information truly missing? Is there any world in which we can know the answers to these questions that we want? So you know that you're in that kind of low quality question fog, stuckness, armchair space when you can assess, are there answers to these questions that I can find, either internally or externally? Can I go and get them without a time machine or a mind reader? Or can I just make up the answers? Or are there no answers to be found? What happens when we get stuck in low quality questions is we either just feel paralyzed and literally just time goes by. We feel like we can't move or do anything, or we waste our time filling it with busy work, convincing ourselves we are finding the answers to these questions. This is when we get into, I need to know what's going to happen. So I'm going to ask everybody else what they think is going to happen. It feels productive, but it's really just busy work because you're not answering that question. These people don't have time machines. They don't know what's going to happen. And there's a difference between gathering data because you've asked a useful, answerable question and the busy work of, well, what I really want to know is what's going to happen. So I'm going to try to chase that answer in any way that feels like it looks useful, which it's not. This is also when we can waste our time trying to perfect everything. If our unanswerable question is, how can I guarantee the outcome I want? Which is, if you're trying to do anything at all big or risky or worthwhile, you can't guarantee the outcome you want. You can work towards the result you want, but there's a really low bar for what we can guarantee. We can't really get very far out of our comfort zone or move the needle very much if we need a guaranteed outcome, right? But we can chase that answer by giving ourselves the busy work of trying to make everything perfect and trying to slow everything down so it takes a long time so that I feel like I'm not taking any risks. And what you're really doing is avoiding the discomfort of taking steps forward with uncertainty beside you. You're avoiding the discomfort of making decisions in the presence of unknown, doubt, unknowable things. Remember, we're not judging this because taking steps forward in the presence of uncertainty, making decisions in the presence of doubt feels risky. It feels vulnerable. Naturally, we want to take care of ourselves and protect ourselves in those situations. So we're not judging. We're just increasing your awareness of, oh, am I seeking useful answers to high quality questions, or am I avoiding taking action that's uncomfortable because I have to admit that there are things I don't know and I'm going to move forward anyway? So, how do you ask a high quality question? Well, a lot of the time you can translate a low quality question into a high quality question. So, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can take the questions you're already angsting over and recycling in your head, and you can turn them into high quality, useful questions. Will I be happier doing this or that? We'll never know. Great. That's the answer. We do not have a time machine. So, what is worth asking? Well, does this job and does this environment align with my values? Can I see myself succeeding here? Does this meet the criteria I was looking for? Would I allow myself to change course if I found myself unhappy in this situation? These are high quality questions because they will move you forward. You can answer them internally by deciding yourself, all right, I don't know if I'm going to be happy here. Okay. Well, we can either ask, am I going to be happy, which requires a time machine, or we can ask, if I am not happy, am I going to do something about that? High quality question. I suggest the answer be yes. Moving on, right? See how we didn't have to stay stuck there? Or you can get the answers externally. Does it align with my values? Let's find out. What's the deal? What's the vibe? Is this the right thing to do next in my business? Or is this the right person to hire for my company? Is this the right city to visit on my vacation? If you're asking these questions, if you feel like your brain is assaulting you with these questions, let's put it that way, and you are unable to come up with easy answers, then call them low quality and turn them into high quality. All right. Is it the right move to hire this person or invest in this thing or visit this city? How do you want to decide? What are the criteria you can set up to know it's right? If that's too big a question, then what are the high quality questions that are going to get you to a more confident headspace? Do people have fun in this city? Is it safe? How much money does it cost to do stuff there? Great questions. Move you forward. Answerable. What's this person's track record? Do we get along as humans? Such an important thing when you're hiring, right? What are the questions that are answerable that will move you forward? What's everyone going to think of this decision I'm making? We'll never know. Great. We have the answer. Is there a higher quality question we can ask that is worth asking? Whose opinions do I care about? Why? Great questions to ask. What consequences am I afraid of? Is there anything I can do now to prevent those consequences? More great questions. What reactions am I afraid of? What am I going to choose to think if I get those reactions? Superb, high quality, top notch questions we're asking here. The moral of the question quality story is your brain is a question factory. It is not always going to ask the most useful questions that are the most helpful for your purposes, for the results you want, for the decisions you want to make. So I'd love for you to empower yourself to evaluate the questions your brain might be lobbing at you, and don't let them hang there unanswered and create stress. What's going to happen? I feel like that's like a fishing line your brain just throws out into the sea of your mindscape, and it just sits there because you can't answer it. And it creates stress, and it's an open loop that you keep coming back to. And you feel like you're in a place of deficiency because you're missing information and you don't have the data you need, which makes you feel unconfident. No good things happen when we hang out in the lake of unanswerable low quality questions. A lot of metaphors I'm throwing at you here today, but you know what you signed up for. So I hope this tool can live in your toolkit forever. I hope it feels like you have a way to kind of give yourself a respite from the low quality confusion, overwhelm, fog, and kind of lift your head up and look for the bridge that's going to take you over the muck and to the result you want, to the next step, to the next decision more easily, more directly, more quickly, because I guarantee the results that you want, whatever they are, they're on the other side of some decisions. And we want to get you making those decisions. Let's get decisive. Let's feel good about it. So, what questions are you asking? Are they answerable? Will they move you forward? You've got this. And if you want to be in the know for the next decision lab, you can go to the link in the show notes, kirstenparker.com/decision lab, and sign up for the wait list so that you get a ping alert for when we run this again, because If there's anything that's going to make your decisions easier than asking high quality questions is getting help knowing what questions to ask in what order. And that's what I'm here for. What you can sign up for still, what is still to come that you can jump on right now is Accountability April. This is something I've never done before. It's a 30-day accountability and coaching program. So we're going to help you laser focus on one target you want to hit, one milestone you want to achieve, one project you want to focus on for 30 days. And we're going to do it without hustle, without burnout, without abandoning the rest of your life and responsibilities. And we're going to fold coaching in so that it's not just one of those things where you get all hyped up for something and you create your plan and you hit day one running and then day two happens and other stuff comes up and you're tired. And then all of a sudden weeks have gone by and you're like, what happened to that thing that I felt super committed to? So we're going to help you create a game plan for what you want to focus on and achieve and how you want to do it. Very important. We're going to have weekly evaluations so that you can stay on track and assess what's working, what's not working well. And we're going to do weekly coaching live on Fridays, and we're going to do Slack coaching any day of the week that you want. This is where you can send me a voice note and be like, Kirsten, I am not doing the thing that I said I was doing, and I don't know what's up, and I need help because I'm about to beat myself up for it. And I Slack you back, and I'm like, all right, I got you. Let's talk this through. Accountability on its own is great, but it requires a heavy lift on your part. And it is so easy for us to slip into all or nothing thinking when it's like, well, that didn't go exactly the way I wanted, or I didn't show up the exact way that I expected myself to. So this thing is just, it's not going to happen. So that's why the coaching is there to keep your mindset sharp, to help you course correct your plan, to account for surprises and challenges. We can make this an incredible April. We can create big things. We can watch ourselves be the people we want to be without holding ourselves to impossible standards and setting ourselves up for failure or burnout. Not necessary. We have a couple spots left, so you can get in on this right now. If you want to, go to kirstenparker.com/accountability or click the link in the show notes, and I will see you soon. Either way, have a beautiful week. Hey, want to find out your decision style? Obviously, go take the decision style quiz. It's in the show notes and at kirstenparker.com/quiz. We all have our style when it comes to making decisions, but do you know how to use your default way of thinking to your advantage? Or do you mainly get stuck in the most annoying parts of overthinking and people pleasing? The decision style quiz has your answers, my friend. Take it right now at kirstenparker.com/quiz.